I've been at Hazeltine National as a head golf professional for 32 years.
In those years, how has the number of golf rounds changed?
Number has changed dramatically. A number of years ago when we started, we only had about 160 members, and we were running about, probably 15,000 rounds, like from mid-80s, late 80s until probably around the late 90s or 2000, we were up maybe in the 26,700, 28,000. And now we're actually, the last few years, it's been around 22, 23,000. So it has dropped in the last few years.
Well, really, right after I got here, the rounds did start to spike and go up, and then right after 9/11, the rounds started to go down. So right now, we're about as low as we've been in 14 years, and that will be around 21,000 rounds.
I started in 1999, and the first couple of years, we did almost 20,000 rounds, a little less than that, and that's gone down substantially over the course of the 9 years to where now we're at about 15 or 16,000 rounds a year.
How have the rounds for caddies changed over those years?
The caddy rounds have also reflected the decline in the overall golf rounds. We've gone from 2,500 rounds in 99 and 2000 down to close to 1,100 rounds over the last couple of years.
Last year, the number of rounds was even or slightly above those from 2005. So we see that as a positive trend. The last few years' rounds have decreased. The number of golfers has gone down or maybe remained flat, but the number of rounds has decreased. Golf as a sport, as a game, is competing with a lot of other recreational opportunities and a lot of other family functions. So to see them remain flat over the last couple of years, I think is a positive, and now we just hopefully have to build on that.
Is there a caddy problem in every state or just Minnesota?
Well, the only ones I can speak to are probably in the Evans system, which covers kind of all the Big Ten schools and then goes to Colorado and Washington and Oregon. And everybody's talking about we need to work on it a little bit harder, that it's not just happening by itself. So my guess would be that everybody's having a little bit of a problem, and it's not just Minnesota.
Golf courses have opted to allow golfers to A, carry their own bag, or B, take pull carts, which have greatly replaced the use of caddies. In the past, it was required to either take a caddy or a cart, which even if you took a cart, part of the proceeds would still go into the caddy fund. And so without any of those proceeds, the caddy program is down, training is down, kids just aren't interested because they don't want to waste their time.
At least at this club, we've seen the average age of the membership really drop. And as the members get younger, they're looking for any opportunity that they can find to maybe get a little exercise, so they end up wanting to walk and carry a lot more.
Why are some clubs experiencing lack of caddy usage?
That I would say is twofold. I think we need to bring more young people into caddying, so I think maybe some of the ranks are down. And we need to get the word out that it's a fun summer job, that it's a good summer job. But I think on the club level, it becomes an economic issue, and a lot of the clubs like the revenue that they gain from selling carts to people. And even though they kind of administer the caddies, they don't really get anything for sending a caddy out, although they like to support the programs, but they actually get money for sending carts out. So I think at some point, they look at their numbers, all the clubs are trying to make their numbers work, and I think it becomes a revenue issue.
Our rounds have shifted dramatically from when I first started, and even prior back in the 80s and the 90s. A majority of your play was during the middle of the day. And people would come out and make a day of it, more or less. And now we're seeing that that's completely opposite. During the middle of the day, especially during the week, it's very quiet. And our after-work 9-hole players has gone up dramatically.
I think the number of 18-hole rounds is going down. People are very busy, so what you find is, families going out and playing 7 holes, not even 9, just playing as much as they can in a fixed amount of time.
We only had 12 applicants, and we only were able to qualify 4 to come to the interviews out of that. And that's pretty low. In the recent years, since I've been going to the selection meetings, I've never seen it as low as that. And I think part of that really is it's just one of those funny years, because we've heard from a couple of our good programs that always supply us with candidates, Hazeltine, Interlochen, and Minnetonka, that they just didn't have the kids at the right ages this year to send, and that all those 3 will be sending us candidates next year.
Do you think people in carts forget about course maintenance? Like, do you think sometimes they might forget to replace a divot or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, they may take care of their divots. I think that's more of a personal thing, just as far as attentiveness. But one of the things that we definitely see is a decrease in the fixing of ball marks.
When it rains, like a day like we had yesterday, they're not letting carts out, but they certainly allowed walkers and caddies. So the nice thing about caddies, it's not going to shut down the golf course. If someone relies on carts for their golf course, they can be shut down in poor weather.
So I think caddies speed up the game, I really do. I think they keep the golf course in better condition. I think Bill Larson at Town and Country has said many times he'd never be golf course superintendent at a course that didn't have a caddy program.
Talk about, from a grounds crew perspective, what's better for the grass in the course?
Oh, there's no doubt that caddies is the way. First of all, it's quiet. I think everybody appreciates that. But as far as grounds maintenance, anytime you can eliminate cart traffic, especially in the heat of the summer, July and August, it's a benefit. It's good for the local economy, having the kids out here working. And they really do care. You see it, you know, in the way that they're trained. And we train them on turf maintenance too.
When I caddied, which was a long time ago, there were very, very few carts. Cart golf, or the fact that carts are there, the more people are using them impacts that. The pressure for clubs to get revenues, and they get that from carts more than they would get that from caddies, obviously, contributes to that. And also, I think, just saying kids, the pressure for time. When I caddied, there just weren't that many other opportunities for kids.
Young people today pack a lot more into their day than I ever did at that age. And I think we have to look at ways to connect with caddies, not have them necessarily sitting there waiting for a loop, as we call it, and but having access to them if we need their services.
The on-call system, where with technology, most people have cell phones now, so it can run more smoothly, so they don't have to wait around the shack so long.
So that's how you get caddies. You call them up, or do some of them still show up? Or?
Some will show up because of their parents if they're younger. They just get dropped off. They know certain times to come here, either early in the morning or late in the morning. If we have shotgun events, those are also posted like a week ahead in advance. I know how many bags need to be carried, and they sign up that way too. There's multiple ways they can check in.